Ethereum is set to rocket past $5,000 per coin in 2022 because there's a particular pattern that we want to be aware of. And when we see this pattern, more often than not, you'll see the markets make all-time new highs, and that's going to be the focus of today's video. So if you like today's content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. My name is Jagir. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro, featured in the best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008, where I only used to focus on currencies, but now exclusive on cryptocurrency. So let's dive straight in. So quick recap. One of the best ways of reading the markets of what's likely to occur next is something called Elliott waves. And the markets tend to literally move in 5s and 3s. So we're talking about 5 movements to the upside, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then it typically follows with a 3-wave correction called an A, B, C. Where is Ethereum right now on a macro viewpoint? When we really zoom out, where is Ethereum right now? Oh my Lord, it's like it's textbook, literally textbook, that it is over here, down here, and I'm going to show you now on a weekly chart. Now, when we see this, and it unfolds as clean as what I'm seeing with Ethereum, more times than not, you'll see the market go off to all-time new highs in a relatively short space of time. So let's now dive into a live chart. A live chart, straight into Ethereum, and look at this. It looks like the market's done a nice wave 1 in 2017, 2018, complex 2, a 3, 4, 5, and what's happened recently? An A, B, C. Just textbook, like literally. Let's draw this out, and then I'm going to bring it back to the chart again. So we're talking about a 1, a 2, a 3, 4, and a 5, followed by a very clean, like literally it doesn't get much cleaner than this, A, B, C on a macro scale. So if you take a snapshot of this and then we go back to the theory, look at that. So what typically unfolds after an ABC correction? Well, there's a continuation of the former trend, but it expands more. So it's literally more aggressive the next round. I call it like the next round. All-time new highs, which is why it's very likely we're going to see Ethereum go over $5,000 in 2022. So next up, what we're going to do is we're going to go into a bit of detail on this part of the wave structure, because something very important unfolded. And by the way, if you want to learn about Elliott waves, take my free Elliott wave masterclass in the link below, where we cover the 3 foundational rules and why you're going to see these patterns over and over and over again. And again, it helps you read the markets and be on the correct side of the market, knowing when to sell and when to buy and when to ride those trends. So now let's just dive in a bit deeper with Ethereum. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in. This is a weekly chart. So I'm going to drop down to a daily chart. And this part of the market, this wave C, is what I want to really pay special attention to. This last part of that major correction we're talking about. In other words, this part of the major correction, if it unfolds in a particular way, it can give us big clues on when the reversal is likely to occur. And then we can literally just ride it to the moon. Ride it to the moon being $5,000 plus Ethereum. It's probably going to go higher. It's probably going to go like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000. But let's be conservative. So what I want to talk about here when it comes to pattern is wave C's, this wave down here, this whole movement to the downside, typically breaks down into 5 waves in itself. So this is what you call a sub-degree wave count, is where waves break down into more micro waves, so in terms of smaller degree wave counts. And when they're relatively clear, we can use that information to our advantage. So I'm just going to move it like so, and I'm just going to zoom in like this. I just want to make it as clear as I can with this. I'm going to do it like this. All right. Do you see any particular wave count on the downside? And I'm looking for a 5-wave structure. Well, this is what I see. Right, starting up here, we've got this clear movement down. It's moved sideways, and then it's moved very aggressive down. Then it's moved sideways, and now it looks like it's doing a final move to the downside. So that potentially is the end of a 5-wave sequence, and we call this a wave 5 of a wave C, 2 degrees of wave counts. So this potentially, and it is potentially, could be the all-time low, as in the recent low of this big correction of Ethereum? And if it is, what should we anticipate? Well, we should anticipate all-time new highs. Literally the market breaking all-time new highs and exceeding the previous all-time previous high. And this is why we're talking about $5,000 Ethereum or $5,000 plus. Right? It's likely to go way, way beyond. Tomorrow we'll talk about Fibonacci ratios and the price ratio and the relationships of the psychological mood of buying and selling. In other words, where's the price likely to go and with high probability if this takes off the way we are anticipating. So let's just finish off on two more things. Is what would be a clear signal for us that this low down here is likely to hold? Is something called swing highs. We want to see the price. I'm just going to make this a little higher over here. Go above this swing high. And this will be a major indicator for us to say this low should hold if this high gets exceeded. But this is quite far away from the market. So what we could do is we could move it down to this swing high and then this swing high. So this is the most recent swing high that we could also move it down to if we wanted a much earlier entry point. There's a couple other factors as well. We want to look at momentum. We're going to look at price. We're going to look at that tomorrow. There's time factors as well. There's one other thing that I want to just finish on today. One other thing. So this looks like a wave C and a wave 5. Does this part of the market, this wave 5 of a wave C, can you see any pattern forming on this? Because believe it or not, the fifth wave of a wave C also typically breaks down to a 5-wave structure. And look at this. 1, 2, impulsive 3, looks like a 4, and a potential wave 5. So this is now 3 degrees of counts telling us the same piece of information. 1, 2, looks like a 3, 4, and a 5. So what I find helpful to do is to change the colors. So we're going to change this intermediate wave count to amber, orange. This last part we're going to change to red. So we can now, and the blue one we're going to keep, which is the larger degree count, keep it as blue. We'll go to dark blue. So now what we're going to be able to see is, if I can get this, hold on. Trying to get this structure here, this one here. So this one's supposed to be amber. Change that one. Right now, it just makes it easier for us to see the 3 wave counts: a wave 5 of a wave potential 5 of a wave C. Right. So now, what we would like to see is the price go above this high over here. That will give us strong confirmation and an indication that the low is going to hold. Wait for a pullback, and then look for long entry orders. But the main thing for today is to really be aware of the 3 degrees of pattern counts that we just saw today of a wave ABC. I'm just gonna summarize this because this is really powerful leading information. We're talking about an ABC. We're talking about the C breaking down to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 5 breaking down to what looks like to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in red. 3 degrees of count saying that we're at the end of a potential major trend. So the trend is your friend. Ride it until its end, until it reaches its bend. And it looks like Ethereum is about to reach its bend and form a new trend to the upside. And we can get in quite early and ride it to 5,000 and beyond. So if you want to learn about Elliott waves and Fibonacci, with more Elliott waves at the moment. Today we really focus on Elliott waves. Take the masterclass in the link below. And I cover this in detail because we want to look out for these patterns. And when they're as clear as this, we want to use that valuable information and see how can we make money from this? How can we profit from this with capital, acceptable capital exposures or minimal risk and maximum upside potential. So if you like today's content, because we're going to follow Ethereum in a bit of detail over the next few days, we're going to talk about price tomorrow. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let's finish on a quote. It's one of my favorites. It's Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. What I've realized, having traded for over 15 years, pretty much all Forex in the last 5 years, crypto, is people overcomplicate things, right? You tend to overcomplicate things. by watching the news. There's a lot of noise, there's fundamentals, there's technicals, there's 1,000 different indicators. There's all these, different patterns that people can have, whether it's head and shoulders, whether it's cup and handles, whether it's, 20 different moving averages and another 20 indicators. Look, if you can just get it really, really simple what's the 20% that gives us the 80% results, it's the 4 things. There's pattern, which is what we covered today. There's momentum. We're going to cover that in a future video. We're going to go into a lot of detail with Ethereum because there's some real important information with momentum indicators. So we're going to go into that. Price, which is what we're going to cover tomorrow. Fibonacci price. And then Fibonacci time. That's it. That's all you need. And then it's just like, okay, what would indicate that there's the end of a trend? All right, is the price going above a swing high? What does that mean? And how do we leverage that information? And once you can just repeat those 4 pieces and look for those 4 pieces, and 3 out of the 4 is all you need to say, we've got a high probability setup on our hands. Let's trade it without hesitation or reservation in a confident, fearless manner, but where we're not being reckless. We literally have proper stop losses. So we know our downside, 2%, 3%, 1%, whatever your trade plan is. And then we consistently trade that. And that's how you make consistent crypto trading profits, is by trading consistently. So join me tomorrow for Fibonacci price. We're going to look at the price relationships on why it's a very highly probable end of a wave, 5 of a 5 of a C, that we can use this valuable information to go long and ride the trend. And if it takes off, we're talking about serious profits. We're talking about 3 months, 6 months of sideways to up, 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 and more up. So join me tomorrow for price action with Ethereum. Share this content with friends because it's valuable. Because a lot of people are buying Ethereum or selling or panicking about Ethereum. Now it's probably one of the best times in the last 12 months, 3 years, 2 years, maybe since 2017, because we're at this pivotal point. And if it takes off as anticipated, we're talking about some serious upside potential. All right, I'll see you tomorrow where we're going to talk about Elliott waves combined with Fibonacci price for Ethereum. I'll see you then.